So a couple examples on evaluating functions. I have this function f of x, and I'm told that f of x is what happens when you take a value, x, and you multiply it by 5, and you add 7 to it. So that's all that f is. It's just basically, an algorithm, a thing that's taking something as an input and it's spitting out what's equivalent to that expression being evaluated when you give it the input. So if I was to give this function the number 5, the question is, what would the output be? Well, that means 5 is going into the function, and every single time that there's an instance of x, that x is being replaced with the number 5. So f of 5 is equal to 25 plus 7, which is the number 32. So the question is, what is f at 5? Well, when you throw 5 into the function, you get the value of 32 out of it. The next question right below says, what is f at negative 5? Well, it's doing the exact same thing, except this time, instead of putting in a positive 5 as an input, right, now we're going to be placing the number negative 5 in as our input. So all of a sudden, this is now negative 25 plus 7. And if I have negative 25 and I add 5 to it, I'm sitting at negative 20. And then I add 2 more and I'm at negative 18. So if I place negative 5 into this function, it produces an output of negative 18. And then the final question kind of is a little different. It says, what value of x, what input goes into the function that would give you an output of negative 3? So probably the best way to figure this out is to say, look, here's my function. My function is f of x is equal to 5 times x plus a 7. And the question is, what value of x would make the output of this function equal to negative 3? So that f of x represents the output, so I can just go ahead and put a negative 3 here. So now my question is, hey, what value of x makes this true? What value of x would make this equal to negative 3. So to solve this, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, or I'm sorry, 7 from both sides. So I get that negative 10 is equal to 5x. And if I divide both sides by 5, I get that x would have to equal negative 2. So what I'm saying is when you plug negative 2 into this function, it's going to produce an output of negative 3. You can see that just looking at this now, right? If I have 5 times negative 2, that's negative 10, plus 7, that's indeed negative 3. So again, we obtain that by basically looking at our function, the rule for our function, 5 times the input plus 7, and then just setting that equal to 3 and then solving for x.